These are a larger blooming allium than the Purple Sensation. Today we are planting a shrub tree that I've had on my wish list for 2 seasons now. We're at Kohl's doing a little bit of shopping and George found me something.
Yeah, check this out. It's a back scratcher, but it looks like a rake.
Yeah. And its 10-year size is 4 feet in height and 3 feet in width. We've had some beautiful fall weather this week and I'm fully taking advantage by getting lots of planting done. Some trees, some shrubs, some bulbs. So come along with me while we get some things planted. Hi, it's Steph. Welcome back to my garden. We are starting to get a bit colder now and the days are shorter. It's getting darker earlier, which is kind of limiting how much time I have to do projects out in the garden. But this week I was able to get several things done and this video is a compilation of all of those projects. In a video I posted a few weeks ago, we had removed some lamb's ear from this area here in our Japanese maple garden. We had about 4 planted here and we removed 3 of them. And now I'm down to just 1. But we had taken a trip over to Hassan's garden, Tolan Gardens in Connecticut, and we picked up a couple of conifers. So what we're doing today is we're planting 2 of them in this area here where we removed some of the lamb's ear. This here is a sunshine mugo pine and it grows in a globus or a round shape, and it is a dwarf, meaning it'll only grow about 6 inches a year, and the 10-year size is 3 by 3. So I think that's going to work out really nicely here. It does need some sun and this edge does get sun. So that is where that is going. And George had brought out this hand cart to move a couple of rocks to our hillside garden project. And while he had it out, he decided that he was going to move this pine that we also picked up to go in this spot here. Initially, we had planned on putting a blue spruce that we picked up called Salem in this area because we didn't have anything blue in this corner and we thought that it would look really nice. But we're a little bit fearful of the blue spruces because we have the one in the front that got too large. So what we decided was to put this pine here instead. What's the name of this pine, George? Again, I forgot. Goldilocks. So this pine is called Goldilocks and it also has a dwarf growth rate of only up to 6 inches a year, and its 10-year size is 4 feet in height and 3 feet in width. And while it does have the height at the moment, it's close to 4 feet, if not 4 feet, it doesn't have the wingspan yet or the width. So I think that this is going to work out nicely here. Also, because of the shape of it, it is really easy to prune if you do end up needing to size control it. So we're working on getting that in the ground in this area here. The sun is just about to set, but we were able to get the Goldilocks and the Sunshine Mugo Pine planted. So the Goldilocks looks really pretty here, and you can see that all of the colors in our backyard, as well as in this Japanese maple garden, have started to really take on that really beautiful fall color. So I'm loving the way that this is looking, and I think that this was a great conifer to put in the end here of this bed. So that is the Goldilocks, and here around the corner is where we put the Sunshine Mugo Pine. And we spaced it far enough away from the whipcord arborvitae. And I can prune that whipcord arborvitae. It kind of looks like a cousin it that I can give a haircut to once in a while. But here it is. I do need to grab some mulch to tuck it in for the winter. But all in all, I'm really happy with the way it looks and with all of this beautiful color in this garden this time of year. We're at Kohl's doing a little bit of shopping and George found me something.
Yeah, check this out. It's a back scratcher, but it looks like a rake.
Yeah. I'm always asking for you to scratch my back.
Yeah.
Now you're off the hook. $10.
It's the perfect gift.
It is perfect. Today I'm at my parents' house and they have this garden bed here on the side of their driveway that I thought would be a great place to plant some daffodils. So I picked up 2 packages of daffodils, and the ones that I picked up were the trumpet mix as well as the double mix. And I put them in this paper bag here to mix them all up so that they'd be very random when I plant them. So what I'll do is I'm going to toss the daffodils here in this bed, and I'm going to use this drill with an auger bit on it to drill the holes where they land, put some bone meal in the hole, and get them planted. I think this will look really pretty as my parents drive into the driveway in the spring to have these cheery daffodils. So I made my holes with the drill and the auger, which makes things so much easier. My parents actually have really great soil. It's nice and loose and fluffy, so it made this a dream. So I went ahead and made my holes, put a little bit of bone meal in each hole, and now I'm placing my daffodils. Pointies tip up and roots down. I'm all done planting the daffodil bulbs in this area. So I'm using a shrub rake to kind of cover everything up and fluff up the mulch. And then we're going to move over to the next spot. And right here at the end of the driveway, my parents have this tree rank, and there used to be a really large shrub here, which made it difficult for them to see when they backed out of the driveway. So they recently had it removed, and it made a perfect spot to plant some fun things like annuals, and today some bulbs. And just like in the other bed, I'm going to go ahead and use my drill with the auger, which really makes quick work of this. If you don't have one of these, this one was really affordable on Amazon, and I can link it below. So fluffy. It's just great soil in here. And right here on either side of the front porch, flanking the walkway, my parents have these two large arborvitae shrubs. And I thought it would look really pretty to put a group of 5 of these alliums. These are the Purple Sensation allium. And I think that they will pop really nicely against this green backdrop. So I'm going to go ahead and drill some holes here and put a grouping on each side. Well, I got all of these bulbs planted here in my parents' garden, and I'll have to bring you back in the spring so that we can see how the daffodils come up after we mix them all together. I think it's going to look really pretty. Today we are planting a shrub tree that I've had on my wish list for 2 seasons now, a witch hazel. Now, a couple of years ago, I had made a video in the winter where I had found this beautiful blooming tree in the color yellow that I didn't know what it was. So I went to try to figure it out using an app on my phone called Google Lens, and we determined that it was a witch hazel. And that was the first that I knew of witch hazels, and that they bloomed in the winter, end of February, when nothing else was blooming. So from that point forward, I knew that I had to add one to my garden. Well, a year later, I ended up going to garden club, and one of the members had some cut branches of this variety called Diane, and it is a beautiful coppery colored witch hazel. And she had cut the branches for someone to take home to force them indoors so that they would bloom. And having something that blooms in late winter is amazing, especially a tree that will offer some color when everything else is pretty drab still. So I was after one of these witch hazel Dianes, and I called my local nursery, and they didn't have any last season. But this year I was able to get my hands on one. And earlier this month, I picked up my witch hazel Diane. So George is actually helping me dig a hole to get it planted because it's a pretty big root ball. And I hurt my back a few weeks ago digging out some of the lamb's ear. And I think this spot here along our woods line is going to be perfect for this beautiful tree. Now it could be either a really large shrub at anywhere from 8 to 12 feet tall and wide, or you can train it by limbing it up a little bit into a vase-shaped type tree, which is what I'm planning to do. So I'm gonna go ahead and help George out and get this witch hazel Diane in the ground. And there she is. So this is kind of a messy part of the garden, which is part of that 5-year plan, right? The hillside in this back woodland area. But I think it's going to look really lovely in that spot. Now, witch hazels do prefer a part sun to sun location. It will bloom best with more sun. And this is currently a part sun location. So over time, we do have to have some of the tree branches up above clipped back because they're shading my raised bed garden some. So I think that once that happens, this will get plenty of sun. And they are hardy in USDA growing zones 5 through 9. And I really love the foliage on this plant, the witch hazel. It has really beautiful, kind of large, ridged leaves. So I thought that was really pretty. And it also gets some fall color. So a multi-season interest tree, both with these gorgeous leaves, the fall color, and the late winter blooms. So I'm really happy with this one. The native variety would be the Hamamelis Virginiana, and that would be like Arnold's Promise, and there are a couple of other yellow ones, but I think the coppery red color on this is going to be really beautiful. These trees here are still looking really beautiful, this Amber Ghost and the Bloodgood, but I went ahead and took out this pot here. This is a 6-inch pot, and I'm going to take some cuttings of my Mazou, which is an annual, that I want to try growing in the house over the winter as a house plant. But you can see that all of the foliage here in our backyard is starting to drop and things are looking more bare, which means that winter is on its way, which is always kind of sad. But we've had a beautiful last week. It's been so warm, unseasonably warm for here in the Northeast. But tonight it's supposed to get down to 40. So I know that that first frost is fast approaching. So before that happens, I'm going to take a couple of cuttings of this Mazou and try to root it and see if I can keep it going this winter. It's always fun to try to get plants going in the house in the winter when we can't garden outside. But here it is. You can see that it looks like a succulent or like a sedum, which typically roots really easy, and it's been really beautiful this season. So let me go ahead and get some cuttings. And here it is. I cleaned up the bottom of the stems. I stuck it in the soil. So now I'm going to water it, and I have a new house plant, and we'll see how it does. It is now November 1st, and my Home Depot has marked down all of the fall planted spring blooming bulbs 50% off. So I went in today looking for the Gladiator Allium, and they still had 4 packs, so I picked them up. And these are a larger allium than the Purple Sensation. So there are 3 bulbs in each of these packs, so I'll have 12 in total to plant. So if you are still looking to plant some beautiful spring bulbs this fall, I would recommend calling your local Home Depot and see if they have marked down their bulbs 50% off. I'm still working through getting some more perennials planted, and this is one that has been on my list for a little while now, and I finally came across it at a local nursery this summer. This is a type of beard tongue or Penstemon, and the variety is called Onyx and Pearls. And what I really liked about it is that it has this really beautiful dark foliage. In mid to late summer, it'll get these tall spikes of white bell-shaped blooms, which the white blooms with this dark foliage makes for a really pretty combination. Now, it is a pretty tall perennial, so it gets to be 36 to 42 inches in height once it gets its bloom stalks. So for that reason, it makes a really great perennial for the middle or the back of the border. And I finally decided to plant it here in my patio bed. Now, I purchased one at the nursery that I knew was big enough for me to divide. So I'm going to take my Vigo Hori Hori and split this Penstemon in 2 and plant it out here in this bed. When I divided my Penstemon, the only place that I could make a clean cut left me with a small division and a larger division. A lot of times when you divide a perennial, you can usually do it right down the middle and end up with 2 even pieces. In this case, I couldn't do that without fearing harming my plant. And because I want it to live, I'm okay with having a smaller one and a larger one. I was still able to get 2, and this smaller one will catch up in no time. And here's where I'm going to plant my divisions. So right in this area here, I have some zinnias that were looking really great until a couple of days ago when we got hit by a little bit of frost, and they are now done for the season. So I'm going to clean those all up and place this larger division of my penstemon in that spot. Look how beautiful this dark foliage is. I think it's going to contrast really nicely with this little drift of lavender that I have here in this like blue, gray, icy color. With the dark, I think that'll look really pretty. And then here I have my drift of firelight tidbits, and right behind them I have some anemones, and in the middle I had also planted a group of zinnias that are now done. So those are coming out, and I'm going to put the smaller division of the penstemon there. Here's a little tip for when you begin doing some of your fall cleanup. If you want to get rid of your annuals, instead of just ripping the whole zinnia or cosmo, or whichever annual, straight out of the soil, which will leave you with a huge hole, and then you'll need to fill it with more soil. Instead, just go ahead and take your pruners and cut them right at the base, like that. And leave the roots in the ground to decompose and feed your soil. And that's all you have to do. And there it is. So I've been working on the textures and the colors in this bed for a little while, and they're starting to become more cohesive, and I'm really loving it. And I think that dark foliage there is going to look really pretty. And I got the other one planted right in here. So now I just have to water them in. Well, that was a really productive week of planting, and I still have some more things to get in the ground before winter. And the next project is going to be getting these boxwoods planted here that line the path leading you down to my raised bed garden. Now, these boxwoods I bought 2 seasons ago at an end of season clearance for under $5 a piece. And while I didn't have a real plan for them, I knew that I wanted them and would find a home for them eventually. And I did this thing, and let me know if you do this too, where I took the plant and I kind of placed it in different places in the garden. I did this plant tango where I put it here and I put it there, and I was trying to visualize a place where they would look good. And I could never come to a conclusion about whether or not I wanted to use it in those places. But after I planted them in my raised bed garden for 2 seasons, I am now ready to put them somewhere. And I think this is going to be the perfect place for them. So you can see they're in mismatched containers, but these are green mountain boxwoods, and they've gotten really out of shape because it's been 2 years and I haven't planted them or pruned them. But I'm going to get them in the ground, and then next spring I will trim them up and give them a haircut, and they will look really nice. I'm planning to shape them into a ball topiary. So that is it for this video. Thank you so much for spending your time with me, and I will catch you in the next one.